Excuse me, miss. The welfare office is 3 blocks down that way. Branch manager Derek Coleman pointed toward the exit, his voice dripping with condescension. He stepped directly in front of Dr. Amara Williams, blocking her path to the VIP counter. His eyes scanned her dismissively from head to toe, as if she were lost. The First National Bank lobby went silent. 12 customers turned to stare. Someone's phone camera started recording. Dr. Williams stood perfectly still, her leather briefcase at her side. Her tailored navy suit cost more than Derek's monthly salary, though he didn't bother to notice. A platinum credit card caught the afternoon light as she adjusted her purse. "Security!" Derek announced the marble-walled space. "We have someone who doesn't understand our banking policies." Guard Johnson shifted uncomfortably near the entrance. The elderly woman behind Dr. Williams shook her head in disgust. "Have you ever been judged by your appearance before anyone bothered to learn who you really were?" Dr. Williams' expression remained calm, professional. "I'm here about my account portfolio." Derek's laugh echoed through the marble lobby. "Your account portfolio?" He turned to the other customers with theatrical disbelief. "Ma'am, this is First National Bank, not a check-cashing service." The insult landed like a slap. Several customers shifted uncomfortably. A young woman near the entrance pulled out her phone, fingers moving across the screen. "I understand there may be confusion," Dr. Williams replied evenly. "Could I speak with someone about my banking relationship here?" Derek crossed his arms, speaking slower and louder as if addressing a child. "Do you have proper identification? Do you even have an account here?" His tone suggested he already knew the answer. Behind the teller counter, Sarah Martinez watched with growing unease. She'd worked at First National for 8 years and had never witnessed such blatant disrespect. Something felt wrong about Derek's assumptions. Dr. Williams checked her phone. The display showed 2:50 p.m. "I have 10 minutes before my 3 o'clock meeting. This should be straightforward." Derek misinterpreted the urgency. "Ma'am, if you need to cash a paycheck, we close at 5 p.m. Plenty of time." His smirk widened. "Though honestly, you might find the community bank down the street more accommodating to your needs." The live stream notification popped up on Instagram. "Y'all need to see this discrimination happening at First National Bank right now." Within seconds, viewer numbers began climbing. 23 viewers, 47 viewers, 89 viewers. Mrs. Henderson, a 73-year-old regular customer, stepped closer. She'd banked here for 30 years and had never seen such behavior. Her weathered hands fumbled for her phone's camera function. "Sir, I really do need to resolve this quickly," Dr. Williams said, pulling a business card from her briefcase. The leather case bore embossed initials, AW, PhD. Derek waved the card away without looking. "I don't have time for games, Patricia," he called over assistant manager Patricia Webb. "Can you help this person understand that premium services require actual account verification?" Patricia appeared from behind the loan desk, her face flushed with embarrassment. She'd overhead the entire exchange. "Derek, maybe we should follow protocol," Derek interrupted. "This woman claims to have accounts here, but look at her." His gesture encompassed Dr. Williams from head to toe. "Does she look like our typical VIP customer to you?" The question hung in the air like poison. Sarah Martinez gripped her pen tighter. Mrs. Henderson's phone was now recording, her lips pressed into a thin line of disapproval. Dr. Williams's phone buzzed. A text from Mayor's office flashed briefly on the screen before she dismissed it. Derek caught the motion, but misread it entirely. "Ma'am, personal calls can wait. If you're here for legitimate banking business, you'll need to get in the regular customer line." He pointed toward a queue of 6 people. "Or better yet, try that community bank I mentioned." The live stream reached 156 viewers. Comments flooded in. "This is disgusting! Get her name! Someone call the news!" The young woman streaming whispered urgently into her phone, "You guys, this manager is straight up racist." Dr. Williams remained composed, though her jaw tightened slightly. I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm asking for basic customer service. Basic customer service is for basic customers with basic accounts, Derek shot back. Not for people who wander in here confused about what bank they're in. Security guard Johnson approached reluctantly. At 55, he'd worked security for 12 years and knew trouble when he saw it. But something about Dr. Williams' calm demeanor gave him pause. "Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to—" Johnson began. "Officer Johnson," Dr. Williams interrupted gently, "could you give me just 2 more minutes?" Johnson stopped mid-sentence, surprised she knew his name. His nameplate was small, barely visible from her position. How did she— 8 minutes, Dr. Williams murmured, checking her phone again. Another message appeared. Boardroom prepared for 3 p.m. Derek couldn't see the screen but noticed her growing urgency. "Look, lady, I don't know what game you're playing, but this is a respectable financial institution." Derek's voice rose. "We serve clients with substantial assets, not people looking for handouts." The word handouts sparked audible gasps from nearby customers. Mrs. Henderson stepped forward, her phone still recording. "Young man, that is completely inappropriate." Derek turned on her. "Ma'am, with respect, this doesn't concern you." "Disrespect concerns everyone," Mrs. Henderson replied firmly. The livestream viewer count hit 324. Sarah Martinez discreetly texted someone. "Emergency at downtown branch. You need to see this." Regional Manager Tom Bradley's office was 1 floor up, but he might as well have been on another planet. Derek felt emboldened by his perceived authority, unaware that his career was about to implode in spectacular fashion. Dr. Williams opened her wallet to retrieve identification. A black American Express Centurion card, the exclusive invitation-only card with no preset spending limit, caught the light. Derek noticed, but dismissed it as fake. "Plastic's cheap these days," he muttered. 5 minutes, Dr. Williams said quietly, more to herself than anyone else. Derek had reached his limit. "Ma'am, I'm calling the police to have you removed for trespassing." He pulled out his cell phone with theatrical authority. "This has gone on long enough." The lobby fell silent, except for the soft pinging of livestream comments. 412 viewers now watched Derek dial 911, unaware they were witnessing the beginning of his professional destruction. "Yes, 911. This is Derek Coleman, branch manager at First National Bank downtown. I need someone removed from our premises immediately." Dr. Williams watched him make the call that would end his career. Her expression remained unchanged, but her fingers moved to the business card in her hand, the one Derek had refused to read. Derek continued his 911 call with theatrical authority. "We have an aggressive individual who refuses to leave our premises. She's disrupting business and intimidating customers." The lie hung in the air like smoke. Dr. Williams hadn't raised her voice once. She hadn't moved aggressively or threatened anyone. Yet Derek painted her as dangerous to the 911 dispatcher. "Ma'am, you need to understand the seriousness of this situation," Derek said, covering his phone. "Trespassing is a criminal offense." Mrs. Henderson couldn't contain herself. "Young man, that woman has been nothing but polite." Her voice carried the authority of 7 decades. "You're the one being aggressive." Derek's face flushed red. "Ma'am, please don't interfere with bank security procedures." The live stream exploded with activity. 547 viewers and climbing. Comments scrolled faster than anyone could read. "This is insane. Sue them! What's her name? Someone call Channel 2 News." Sarah Martinez felt her stomach twist. She'd seen Derek's temper before, but never directed at customers. Never with this level of cruelty. Her fingers moved across her phone screen, typing frantically. Dr. Williams glanced at her watch. 2:52 p.m. "Officer Johnson, could you please ask the dispatcher something?" Johnson looked confused but stepped closer. Dr. Williams continued in a low voice only he could hear. Ask them to confirm if this constitutes a legitimate trespassing call when the alleged trespasser is attempting to conduct banking business. Johnson's 25 years in law enforcement had taught him to read people. Something about Dr. Williams' composed demeanor and specific legal language triggered his instincts. This wasn't some confused person Derek was portraying. "Derek!" Johnson called out. "Maybe we should—" "No maybes!" Derek snapped. "This woman is trespassing. End of discussion." From upstairs, Regional Manager Tom Bradley's phone buzzed. Sarah Martinez's text was urgent. "Derek calling 911 on black customer. Situation out of control. Need you now." Tom set down his coffee and headed for the elevator. He'd received exactly 3 emergency texts in 15 years. Sarah wasn't prone to dramatics. The live stream reached 698 viewers. The original streamer, Jasmine, whispered urgently to her phone, "Y'all, this is getting scary. This manager is straight up calling the police on this professional woman for trying to bank." Dr. Williams checked her phone again. A new message from James Morrison, executive assistant, appeared. "Dr. Williams, board members arriving early. Suggest we start at 2:55. She typed back quickly. "Slight delay. Start without me. 5 minutes maximum." Derek caught her texting and misinterpreted it as desperation. "Ma'am, calling your friends won't help. The police are on their way." "I understand," Dr. Williams replied calmly. Patricia Webb hovered nearby, growing increasingly uncomfortable. She'd worked in banking for 12 years and had completed extensive training on discrimination policies. Derek's behavior violated every protocol she'd learned. "Derek," Patricia said quietly, "maybe we should check the account system first." "Patricia, don't enable this behavior," Derek hissed. "She's clearly not a customer here. Look at her." The elevator dinged. Tom Bradley emerged, his eyes immediately scanning the scene. He saw the crowd of customers, the phones recording, Derek on the phone with 911, and a professionally dressed black woman standing calmly in the center of it all. His stomach dropped. "Derek!" Tom called sharply. "My office. Now!" "I'm handling a security situation, Tom," Derek replied without looking up. "Give me 2 minutes to get the police." "Hang up that phone immediately," Tom ordered, his voice carrying authority that made the entire lobby fall silent. Derek finally looked up, irritated. "Tom, this woman is trespassing. She claims to have accounts here but won't provide proper—" "I said hang up the phone." The 911 dispatcher's voice crackled through Derek's speaker. "Sir, are you still there? Officers are 5 minutes out." Dr. Williams spoke for the first time in minutes. "Tom, it's all right. Let him finish his call." Tom Bradley froze. The woman knew his name. She'd spoken with the quiet authority of someone accustomed to being obeyed. His eyes darted to her professional attire, her expensive briefcase, her composed demeanor. Warning bells exploded in his mind. "Derek, tell them it's a false alarm," Tom said urgently. "It's not a false alarm," Derek protested. "This woman—" "Tell them it's a false alarm!" The shout echoed through the marble lobby. Every customer, every employee, every viewer of the live stream heard Tom Bradley's panic. Derek, stunned by his supervisor's outburst, stammered into the phone, Dispatch? This might be a misunderstanding. Cancel that unit." "Sir, are you saying you no longer need police response?" Derek looked between Tom's terrified expression and Dr. Williams' calm face. Yes. Cancel the call." The live stream chat exploded. "What just happened?" Why did the other manager freak out? "She must be someone important." "Who is she?" "Doctor." Williams looked at her watch. 2:54 p.m. "Tom, I believe Derek wanted me to provide identification." She reached into her briefcase and withdrew a business card. "Perhaps this will clarify things." Tom Bradley approached with the careful steps of a man walking toward his own execution. He took the card with trembling fingers. The color drained from his face. "Derek," Tom whispered hoarsely. "Do you know who this is?" Derek, still flustered from the 911 call, snatched the card impatiently. "Some random business card won't change." He stopped mid-sentence. The card read, Dr. Amara Williams, Chief Executive Officer, Williams Capital Holdings, Board Chair and Primary Shareholder, First National Bank of Georgia. Derek's mouth opened and closed like a fish. The card fluttered from his fingers to the marble floor. Sarah Martinez, who had crept closer to witness the exchange, covered her mouth in shock. Mrs. Henderson leaned forward, squinting at the fallen card. "Oh, my stars," Mrs. Henderson whispered to her phone camera. "She owns the bank. She literally owns the bank." The live stream viewer count hit 1,247. Jasmine could barely keep up with the comments flooding her screen. "Wait, what?" she whispered. "Did that lady say she owns the bank?" Security guard Johnson stepped back instinctively. In 30 seconds, his understanding of the entire situation had inverted. The trespasser was the owner. The protector was the threat. Dr. Williams calmly retrieved her business card from the floor. "Derek, I believe you were asking about my account relationship here?" Derek's career flashed before his eyes. 15 years at First National, 2 promotions, 3 Employee of the Month awards, his mortgage, his daughter's college fund, all of it evaporating in the space of a heartbeat. I didn't... Your card," Derek stammered. "What about my card?" Dr. Williams asked quietly. Tom Bradley found his voice. "Dr. Williams, I am profoundly sorry. Derek's behavior is completely unacceptable and—" Dr. Williams held up her hand, silencing him. "Tom, I was actually here today for a positive announcement. We were going to unveil our new community investment program." She paused, letting the weight of past tense settle. "We're going to?" The lobby had become a theater. 12 customers watched the drama unfold. Over 1,000 viewers witnessed it online. Everyone understood they were seeing someone's career end in real time. "1 minute," Dr. Williams murmured, checking her watch one final time. Dr. Williams pulled out her phone with the deliberate movements of someone who had made this type of call many times before. Her fingers moved across the screen with practiced efficiency. "James? It's Amara. I'm standing in our downtown Atlanta branch right now." The words fell like stones into still water. Derek's face went from red to white to green in the span of 3 seconds. Tom Bradley gripped the marble counter for support. "I need you to pull the complete personnel file for Derek Coleman, employee ID." She glanced at Derek's nameplate, 7749A. Derek's knees buckled slightly. His employee ID. She knew his employee ID from memory. How many employees did First National have? 1,200 across 47 branches, and she knew his specific identification number. The live stream chat exploded with speculation. "OMG, she's the boss. Derek is so fired. This is better than Netflix." Viewer count climbed past 1,500. Tom Bradley stepped forward desperately. "Dr. Williams, please, if we could discuss this privately." "James, also pull Derek's performance reviews for the past 18 months. Her voice remained conversational, almost pleasant. "And Tom Bradley's management assessment reports for this quarter." Tom went pale. Management assessments. She knew about internal HR processes that most branch managers never saw. Derek found his voice, though it cracked like a teenager's. I didn't know. You didn't say..." "I didn't say what, Derek?" Dr. Williams asked calmly. "That I owned the bank before you called me aggressive? Before you suggested I go to the welfare office? Before you called 911 to have me arrested for trespassing in my own building?" Each word hit like a physical blow. Derek swayed slightly, gripping the counter edge. Sarah Martinez watched in fascination and horror. She'd never seen someone's career implode so completely, so publicly. Her phone buzzed with a text from her supervisor at regional headquarters. Is it true Derek called 911 on the owner? News traveled fast in banking circles. Within minutes, 3 other branch managers had texted similar questions. The banking community in Atlanta was small, interconnected. Word of Derek's catastrophic mistake was spreading through professional networks faster than wildfire. Mrs. Henderson adjusted her phone for a better angle. At 73, she'd seen plenty of comeuppances, but nothing quite this spectacular. "Young man," she said to Derek, "I believe you owe this lady an apology." Derek opened his mouth, but no sound emerged. The magnitude of his error had rendered him speechless. Dr. Williams continued her phone conversation. "James, what's the current value of our community investment program budget?" She paused, listening. "Yes, the $2.3 million we allocated for minority business loans. The program I was announcing today." The word "was" carried the weight of a guillotine blade. "Unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond our control, we'll need to reassess the downtown branch's eligibility to host that program." Derek's eyes widened. $2.3 million. The community investment program was supposed to be his branch's flagship initiative for the year. The PR boost alone would have secured his next promotion. Local news coverage, community partnerships, federal recognition for diversity initiatives, all gone in the span of 20 minutes. Tom Bradley stepped closer, his voice barely a whisper. "Dr. Williams, surely we can resolve this internally. Derek's actions don't represent our bank's values." "Don't they?" Dr. Williams interrupted. "Derek's been branch manager here for how long, Tom? 15 years? This level of discrimination doesn't develop overnight. This is learned behavior, refined through practice and institutional acceptance." Her phone conversation resumed. "James, I need the federal compliance reports for this branch, specifically any discrimination complaints filed in the past 5 years." Derek's face went ashen. There had been complaints. 2 formal ones and several informal mentions during staff meetings. Mrs. Patterson, the black teacher who said Derek made her feel unwelcome. The Hispanic couple who complained about excessive documentation requirements. The young Muslim woman who felt targeted during account verification. He'd dismissed them all as misunderstandings, overly sensitive customers, people looking for special treatment. Now those dismissed complaints formed a pattern that could destroy him. The live stream reached 1,847 viewers. Local news stations were starting to pick up the story through social media monitoring. Channel 2's assignment desk had dispatched a crew. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution's social media team was already crafting breaking news alerts. Patricia Webb finally found her courage. "Dr. Williams, I want you to know that several staff members, including myself, were uncomfortable with Derek's behavior today. This doesn't represent how we normally—" "Patricia, how long have you been assistant manager here?" 3 years, ma'am." "In those 3 years, how many times have you witnessed Derek display bias toward customers?" Patricia's silence spoke volumes. Her eyes darted to Derek, then back to Dr. Williams. The answer was clear to everyone watching. There were incidents," Patricia admitted quietly. "But I thought it wasn't my place to—" "It's everyone's place," Dr. Williams replied. "Discrimination thrives in silence." Dr. Williams checked her watch. 2:57 p.m. "Tom, I have a board meeting in 3 minutes. They're waiting for my recommendation on several key initiatives, including which branches should receive additional investment funding this quarter." The threat hung unspoken but clear. Dr. Williams controlled not just Derek's fate, but the branch's entire future. Quarterly investment funding determined staffing levels, technology upgrades, marketing budgets. Without that funding, the downtown branch would stagnate while competitors flourished. Derek finally found words. "Dr. Williams, I made a mistake. A terrible mistake. I was trying to protect the bank's image, maintain our standards." "Whose standards, Derek?" Her question cut through his excuse. The bank's standards include treating every customer with dignity regardless of race, gender, or appearance. Those aren't suggestions. They're federal regulations backed by FDIC requirements. She was right, and everyone knew it. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, specifically Title II, prohibited discrimination in places of public accommodation. Banks fell under federal oversight through multiple agencies: the Federal Reserve, FDIC, OCC, and state banking commissioners. "James," Dr. Williams continued into her phone, "contact our legal department. I need them to review the bank's compliance with federal fair lending practices. Today's incident may require notification to regulatory authorities." Derek's world crumbled further. Regulatory notification meant federal investigation. Federal investigation meant career death in banking. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency maintained a database of banking professionals with compliance violations. No major financial institution would hire someone with a discrimination complaint in their federal file. Banking was a small world built on reputation and trust. Derek's name would be whispered in boardrooms as a cautionary tale for years to come. The live stream chat moved too fast to read. "She's destroying him. This is justice. Derek's done. Banking while black shouldn't be this hard. Someone get this woman's autograph." Security guard Johnson maintained his position but felt increasingly awkward. 25 years in law enforcement had taught him to recognize power dynamics. Dr. Williams held all the cards, and Derek had been playing poker with Monopoly money. Mrs. Henderson lowered her phone momentarily. "Honey," she said to Dr. Williams, "I've banked here 30 years. Never seen anything like what that boy just did to you. You handle this however you see fit." The elderly woman's support carried unexpected weight. Mrs. Henderson represented the bank's traditional customer base: older, established, conservative. If she was appalled by Derek's behavior, it signaled complete community rejection. Dr. Williams nodded graciously. "Thank you, Mrs. Henderson. Your witness testimony may be valuable." Tom Bradley realized the full scope of the disaster. This wasn't just about Derek anymore. The entire branch's reputation was at stake. 1,200 online viewers had watched Derek call 911 on the bank's owner. The story would spread through social media, local news, banking industry publications. The hashtag #banking, while black, was already gaining momentum. Within hours, it would trend nationally. Other customers would share their own stories of discrimination. Competitors would use the incident in their marketing. Regulatory agencies would increase scrutiny. "Dr. Williams," Tom said desperately, "what can we do to make this right?" "You can start by understanding what Derek cost us today." She paused her phone conversation. "James, what's our current stock price?" The answer was apparently immediate. "Down 12 cents since this story started trending on social media. Our market cap just lost approximately $4.2 million. Derek's legs gave out. He sat heavily in a nearby chair, the full weight of his actions finally crushing him. $4.2 million in market value. Gone. Because he couldn't see past his own prejudices. His wife would see the video. His teenage daughter would face questions at school. His neighbors would whisper. His mortgage depended on a job that was evaporating in real time. Sarah Martinez stepped forward tentatively. "Dr. Williams, I recorded the security footage of today's incident. If you need it for any proceedings..." "Thank you, Sarah. That's exactly the kind of proactive thinking we value." Dr. Williams made a mental note. Sarah had demonstrated integrity under pressure, protecting both the customer and the institution's true interests. Derek looked up from his chair, grasping at straws. "You can't fire me for one mistake. I have rights. I have a union." "Derek," Dr. Williams replied calmly, "you called 911 to have your employer arrested for trespassing in her own building. You told a federal banking regulator's board chair to go to the welfare office. You violated multiple federal anti-discrimination laws while 1,200 people watched online." She paused to let each point sink in. Your union contract includes termination clauses for actions that damage the bank's reputation or violate federal compliance requirements. You've accomplished both in under 20 minutes. The live stream hit 2,156 viewers. Local Twitter accounts were sharing clips. Banking. While Black started trending in Atlanta, the story had escaped the building's marble walls and entered the digital stratosphere where forgiveness was rare and consequences permanent. Derek's phone buzzed, a text from his wife. Someone shared a video of you on Facebook. Call me now. The personal consequences were beginning. Social media had no forgiveness, no redemption arc, no appeals process. Derek's name would be forever linked to this moment of spectacular professional failure. Dr. Williams looked at her watch, 2:59 p.m. James, tell the board I'll be there in 30 seconds. We have one final matter to resolve. She ended the call and faced Derek directly. You have a choice. Resign immediately with a neutral reference or be terminated for cause with full documentation in your federal employment record. Tom Bradley held his breath. A resignation would allow Derek to find other work, eventually. Termination for cause would end his banking career permanently. Derek stared at the marble floor, his 15-year career reduced to rubble. If I resign, you get to control the narrative. Leave on your own terms. Find work in another industry where your perspective might be more appreciated. The offer was more generous than Derek deserved, and everyone knew it. The live stream audience waited. Mrs. Henderson adjusted her phone. Sarah Martinez held her breath. Even security guard Johnson leaned forward slightly. Derek Coleman, who 20 minutes earlier had been calling 911 to have Dr. Amara Williams arrested, now held his professional future in his trembling hands. Derek's hands shook as he processed the impossible choice. Resign and salvage some dignity, or face termination and complete professional destruction. The live stream audience watched in real time as a 15-year banking career hung in the balance. I need a moment, Derek whispered. You have 30 seconds, Dr. Williams replied, checking her watch. My board meeting starts now, and they're waiting for my assessment of this branch's operational fitness. The words operational fitness sent chills through Tom Bradley. Branch closures weren't uncommon in competitive markets. One catastrophic incident, combined with poor leadership assessment, could trigger a complete restructuring. Derek looked around the lobby. 12 customers still watched. Over 2,000 people streamed online. Sarah Martinez held security footage that would damn him. Mrs. Henderson's phone had captured everything. The evidence was overwhelming, undeniable, permanent. I resign, Derek said quietly. The lobby exhaled collectively. Dr. Williams nodded once, curtly. Tom processed Derek's resignation immediately. Security will escort him out. Security guard Johnson stepped forward reluctantly. He'd escorted terminated employees before, but never under such public circumstances. Derek stood on unsteady legs, his face ashen. Derek, Dr. Williams said as he prepared to leave. One final question. In 15 years of banking, how many black customers did you treat the way you treated me today? The question hung in the air like an accusation and a challenge. Derek's silence was answer enough. That's what I thought, Doctor. Williams turned to Tom Bradley. We have larger issues to address. Derek shuffled toward the exit, his career ending not with fanfare, but with the quiet shuffle of defeated footsteps on marble floors. The live stream comments showed no sympathy. Bye, Derek. Good riddance. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. With Derek gone, Dr. Williams addressed the remaining staff. Tom, Sarah, Patricia, I want full transparency. This branch's performance data for the past 5 years. Tom Bradley's throat went dry. Dr. Williams, I can have those reports ready by... Now, Tom, James has remote access to all branch metrics. She speed-dialed again. James, Pull up the downtown Atlanta branch dashboard. I need customer satisfaction scores, demographic breakdowns, and complaint resolution data. The pause felt eternal. Then Dr. Williams' expression darkened. Customer satisfaction among minority clients, 2.1 out of 5. Overall satisfaction, 3.7 out of 5. She looked up at Tom. Care to explain the 1.6-point disparity? Tom stammered. We never analyzed the data by demographics. You never analyzed whether your branch was systematically discriminating against minority customers? Dr. Williams' voice remained calm, but the underlying steel was unmistakable. That's either incompetence or willful negligence. Sarah Martinez stepped forward. Dr. Williams, several of us have noticed patterns. Derek consistently required additional documentation from minority customers. He questioned their account relationships more aggressively. When we tried to address it, what happened when you tried to address it? Derek said we were being overly sensitive, that maintaining bank standards required scrutiny. Sarah's voice grew stronger. But the standards weren't applied equally. Patricia Webb nodded reluctantly. It's true. Derek treated customers differently based on appearance. I should have reported it sooner. Dr. Williams absorbed this information. Tom, as regional manager, you're responsible for ensuring compliance across all branches. Derek's behavior wasn't hidden. How did you miss systemic discrimination happening under your oversight? Tom's face flushed. Dr. Williams, I visit each branch monthly. Derek always presented positive metrics because he was measuring the wrong things. Dr. Williams interrupted. Customer satisfaction among your target demographic while ignoring the community you're supposed to serve. The live stream reached 2,847 viewers. Local news crews had arrived outside, setting up cameras. The story was evolving from individual discrimination to institutional failure. James, what's our legal exposure? Dr. Williams continued her phone conversation. How many potential federal violations? Another pause. Tom Bradley felt sweat beading on his forehead. 17 potential violations of fair lending practices. 12 documented complaints that weren't properly investigated. 6 instances of disparate impact in service delivery. Dr. Williams looked directly at Tom. Your branch is a federal compliance nightmare. The numbers hit like hammer blows. Federal violations carried massive fines. The Office of the Comptroller of the Currency could impose penalties of $25,000 per violation. 17 violations meant potential fines exceeding $400,000. Dr. Williams, Tom pleaded, we can fix this. New training programs, policy revisions, oversight improvements. Fix this, Doctor. Williams' composure cracked slightly, revealing controlled anger beneath. Tom, Derek called 911 to have me arrested for banking while black. This isn't a training problem. This is a culture problem. Mrs. Henderson, still recording, spoke up. Doctor, in 30 years banking here, I've seen how different folks get treated. That boy Derek wasn't the only one with issues. The elderly woman's testimony carried devastating weight. If long-term customers had observed discriminatory patterns, the problems ran deeper than Derek alone. James, I need our diversity and inclusion audit for this branch. When was the last comprehensive review? Dr. Williams waited for the response. 3 years ago? And the findings? Tom knew the answer before Dr. Williams spoke it aloud. Multiple recommendations for cultural sensitivity training, bias awareness programs, and demographic tracking of customer service metrics. None implemented. She fixed Tom with a stare that could cut glass. 3 years of ignored recommendations led to today's incident. The live stream chat exploded with outrage. 3 years of warnings. They knew and did nothing. Systematic racism in banking. Sue them all. Sarah Martinez cleared her throat. Dr. Williams, not all of us ignored the problems. Some of us documented incidents, hoping someone would listen. Show me. Sarah pulled out her phone, scrolling through photos and notes. I've been keeping records since my 3rd year here. Photos of Derek treating customers differently, notes about discriminatory comments, documentation of complaint patterns. Dr. Williams examined the evidence. Months of careful documentation showing Derek's bias wasn't accidental or occasional. It was systematic, deliberate, and witnessed by multiple staff members. "Why didn't you report this directly to corporate?" Dr. Williams asked. "I tried. I sent emails to HR, to regional management. I was told Derek's performance metrics were strong and that customer service issues were subjective." Sarah's voice carried frustration and vindication. "I was told not to create problems." Tom Bradley's face went white. He remembered those emails. He'd dismissed them as interdepartmental friction, personality conflicts between staff members. He'd never investigated deeper. "Tom," Dr. Williams said quietly, "you received documentation of systematic discrimination and chose to ignore it because Derek's profit margins were acceptable." It wasn't that simple." "It was exactly that simple. You prioritized short-term profits over federal compliance and basic human dignity." Dr. Williams turned back to her phone. "James, prepare termination paperwork for Tom Bradley, effective immediately." Tom's knees buckled. "Dr. Williams, please. I have a family, a mortgage. This was Derek's problem, not mine. This became your problem when you ignored staff reports documenting discrimination. This became your problem when you failed to investigate complaint patterns. This became your problem when you allowed Derek to operate without oversight for 3 years. The live stream viewer count hit 3,200. Hashtag banking. While Black was trending nationally, major news outlets were picking up the story. The incident had evolved from local discrimination to national conversation about systemic bias in financial services. "Sarah," Dr. Williams continued, "you're promoted to interim branch manager, effective immediately. Your first task is implementing the diversity and inclusion protocols that should have been in place 3 years ago." Sarah's eyes widened. "Dr. Williams, thank you. I won't let you down." "You already proved that by documenting problems and attempting to address them through proper channels. That's the leadership we need." Tom Bradley gathered what remained of his dignity. "Dr. Williams, this is unfair. I followed standard procedures that enable discrimination." Dr. Williams's voice carried finality. "Standard procedures that violated federal law. Standard procedures that cost this bank millions in reputation damage and potential legal liability." She looked around the lobby, addressing everyone present. "Let me be clear about the new standards. Every customer receives identical treatment regardless of appearance, accent, or assumptions about their background. Every discrimination complaint gets investigated immediately. Every staff member has both the authority and responsibility to intervene when they witness bias." The message was unmistakable. Change or face consequences. "James, what's our current stock price impact?" Dr. Williams returned to her phone call. "Down 18 cents now. Market analysts are calling for statements about institutional culture and compliance oversight." 20 minutes of discrimination had cost the bank approximately $6.8 million in market capitalization. Derek's prejudice had become a multi-million-dollar mistake, with consequences reaching far beyond his personal career. "Schedule an emergency press conference for this afternoon," Dr. Williams instructed. "We're announcing comprehensive reforms, new leadership, and our commitment to community investment despite today's setbacks." She ended the call and faced the assembled witnesses. "This branch will become a model for inclusive banking practices, not because of today's incident, but in spite of it." The transformation was already beginning. With both Derek and Tom escorted from the building, the lobby atmosphere shifted dramatically. "Dr. Williams addressed the remaining customers and staff with the authority of someone accustomed to implementing systemic change. Sarah, your first priority as interim manager is damage control and genuine reform. Not public relations, but actual operational changes." Dr. Williams pulled out a tablet, fingers moving across the screen with practiced efficiency. I'm implementing the Dignity First protocol immediately. The live stream audience watched as real-time transformation began. Comments shifted from outrage to curiosity. What's Dignity First? She's actually fixing things. This is how you handle discrimination. Patricia, you'll assist Sarah in reviewing every customer interaction policy. Any requirement that disproportionately impacts minority customers gets eliminated today. Dr. Williams' tone brooked no argument. Equal treatment means identical treatment. Patricia nodded vigorously. Yes, ma'am. I've noticed several policies that Derek applied inconsistently. We can standardize everything. Mrs. Henderson lowered her phone but continued recording. Doctor, what about us customers who witnessed this mess? How do we know it won't happen again? Excellent question. Dr. Williams turned to address everyone present. We're installing real-time customer feedback systems at every teller station. Rate your service immediately after each interaction. Anonymous, automatic, and directly monitored by corporate headquarters. Sarah pulled out her notebook, writing rapidly. This wasn't theoretical reform. These were concrete, implementable changes happening in real time. Additionally, Dr. Williams continued, we're implementing bias interrupt training for all staff. When anyone observes discriminatory behavior, they have the authority to stop the interaction and request management intervention. The system was elegant in its simplicity. No more silent witnesses, no more ignored complaints, no more systematic discrimination hiding behind standard procedures. James, Dr. Williams speed-dialed again, initiate the Community Investment Program expansion. Despite today's setbacks, the downtown Atlanta branch will receive the full $2.3 million allocation, plus an additional $700,000 for community trust rebuilding initiatives. The lobby erupted in surprised murmurs. Instead of punishing the branch, Dr. Williams was investing more heavily. The message was clear. Discrimination wouldn't be tolerated, but the community wouldn't suffer for management failures. Dr. Williams, Sarah asked tentatively, how do we rebuild trust with customers who experienced discrimination? Direct outreach, personal apologies, account reviews to ensure no customer received inferior service due to bias. Dr. Williams's response was immediate, suggesting she'd handled similar situations before. Every customer who filed discrimination complaints in the past 3 years gets contacted personally. Security guard Johnson stepped forward. Dr. Williams, I want to apologize. I should have intervened earlier when I saw Derek's behavior. I knew it was wrong. Officer Johnson, recognizing the problem is the first step. What matters now is ensuring it never happens again. Dr. Williams' response carried no judgment, only forward momentum. Your security training will now include bias recognition and intervention protocols. The live stream reached 4,100 viewers. News crews outside were interviewing customers as they left the bank. The story had evolved from individual discrimination to institutional transformation. Sarah, schedule mandatory training for all staff starting tomorrow. 40 hours of cultural competency, unconscious bias recognition, and inclusive customer service. Anyone who refuses the training finds another job. The requirements were non-negotiable. Change wasn't optional. It was mandatory for continued employment. Mrs. Henderson addressed her phone camera directly. Y'all seeing this? This lady isn't just firing people, she's fixing the whole system. This is how you create real change. The elderly woman's endorsement carried unexpected weight with the online audience. Comments praised Dr. Williams' comprehensive approach. She's not just angry, she's strategic. Real reform, not just punishment. This is leadership. James, what's our public statement timeline? Dr. Williams returned to her phone call. The press conference needs 3 key elements: acknowledgement of systemic failures, concrete reform measures, and community investment commitments. Patricia raised her hand hesitantly. Dr. Williams, what about Derek's previous customers who might have experienced discrimination? How do we identify them? Data analysis. James has already started pulling customer satisfaction surveys correlated with Derek's shift schedules. Any customer who rated service poorly during his direct interactions gets personal outreach. The thoroughness was staggering. Dr. Williams wasn't just addressing today's incident. She was systematically reviewing years of potential discrimination. Sarah, one final priority. Employee recognition program for staff who report discriminatory behavior. We reward integrity, not silence. Dr. Williams looked around the lobby. Creating change requires courage, and courage deserves recognition. The live stream comments exploded with approval. She's rewarding people for doing the right thing. Finally, a boss who gets it. This is how you fix institutional racism. As Dr. Williams prepared to leave for her delayed board meeting, she addressed the entire lobby one final time. Today's incident was unacceptable, but it created an opportunity for meaningful change. This branch will become a model for inclusive banking practices. She paused at the door, looking back at Sarah. The $3 million community investment program launches next month. Make sure every dollar serves the people Derek failed to respect. Outside, news crews prepared their evening reports. Inside, systematic transformation had already begun. The banking industry would study this response for years, how 20 minutes of discrimination became a catalyst for institutional reform. 3 months later, the downtown Atlanta branch had become an unlikely symbol of institutional transformation. The story that began with Derek Coleman's discrimination had evolved into something far more significant. A blueprint for corporate accountability in action. Sarah Martinez stood in the same lobby where Derek had called 911, now bustling with diverse customers who felt genuinely welcomed. The real-time feedback systems showed consistent 4.8-star ratings across all demographic groups. The disparity that once plagued the branch had vanished through systematic change, not empty promises. The community investment program had funded 47 minority-owned businesses. Local entrepreneurs who once felt excluded from traditional banking now had access to capital and business development resources. The ripple effects extended far beyond Dr. Williams's initial $3 million commitment. Derek Coleman found work selling insurance in suburban Alabama. His banking career permanently ended. His story became required reading in financial services ethics courses across the country, not as punishment, but as education, a cautionary tale about the true cost of unconscious bias. Tom Bradley struggled to find comparable employment. Regional banking positions required references, and his role in enabling systematic discrimination haunted every interview. His professional network, once robust, had withered under the weight of his negligence. Mrs. Henderson became an unexpected social media sensation. Her video testimony had been viewed over 2.3 million times, making her the face of customer advocacy. She used her platform to share more touching stories of discrimination overcome through persistent action. The live stream that captured Derek's downfall spawned a movement. Banking While Black generated thousands of real-life stories from customers who had experienced similar treatment. Financial institutions across the nation implemented bias training programs, desperate to avoid becoming the next viral cautionary tale. Dr. Williams's approach, swift accountability followed by systematic reform, became a Harvard Business School case study. The incident cost First National approximately $12 million in stock value initially, but comprehensive reforms restored investor confidence within 6 months. The bank's commitment to inclusive practices actually enhanced its market position. But the most significant change wasn't measured in dollars or metrics. It was visible in the faces of customers who entered the downtown branch without fear of judgment. Black voices that had been silenced by institutional bias found platforms through community investment programs. Life stories that once ended in discrimination now concluded with empowerment. Every act of bias is an opportunity to create lasting change, Dr. Williams had said during her press conference. Those words resonated beyond banking, inspiring similar accountability measures in healthcare, education, and retail industries. The story proved that quiet strength could triumph over loud prejudice. That documentation and persistence could overcome institutional inertia. That one person's courage to speak truth to power could transform entire systems. Change doesn't require violence or vengeance. It requires people with power choosing to use it responsibly. It requires witnesses willing to speak up rather than stand silent. It requires institutions valuing dignity over profit margins. Your voice matters. When you witness injustice, document it, share it, demand accountability from those with power to create change. Derek Coleman's 20 minutes of discrimination became a catalyst for transformation because people refused to accept that's just how things are. Share this story if you believe everyone deserves dignity regardless of their appearance. Comment below with your own experiences of bias overcome through persistence. Subscribe to Black Voices Uncut for more stories of quiet strength conquering institutional prejudice. Because every voice matters, every story counts, every act of courage creates ripples that can become waves of lasting change.